Did you see one of the comments we got when I was wearing the Carhartt beanie? It's like, girls that wear Carhartt shit and don't do Carhartt things. I'm like, are you gatekeeping fucking Carhartt now?
You're gatekeeping having a warm head.
Welcome to the Holy Hour. I'm Amelia Sampson.
And I'm Liz Ball.
Before I forget, which I did, Liz is dropping this at the beginning of the episode, but I'm saying this at the end. Follow us on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at the Holy Hour. Email us your spicy stories.
Get ad-free access to our episodes on Patreon.
Early and ad-free. Our email is hoelyhourpodcast@gmail.com. If you don't know that by now, you might be new here. We secured our email before we secured the name. It's just hoelyhourpodcast@gmail.com. Send us compliments if you want to. We fucking love that.
We do love that.
But yes, Patreon, join our Discord. They're having a movie night currently. I don't know what they're watching tonight, but it's cute as fuck. I fucking guarantee it.
Oh my God. So many people reached out to me about weed.
I know. I saw that.
So many people were like, oh my God, wedding cake's amazing. And then someone else on Patreon sent us a message of like, I think you'll like this snack.
Love that.
So I will be checking that out.
Hell yeah. The Discord's the place to be. If you're not on it, you should be.
It's poppin'.
Because you're cute and everybody on there is cute. Yeah, well, we're back. We were both on vacation.
Yeah, it's been 2 weeks since we've recorded. Amelia has gone on a cross-country trip.
I'm fucking tired.
You were in California.
I went to LA and then I went to see my parents in Florida and then I went to Philadelphia for my brother's bachelor party.
You've been everywhere.
Yeah.
You were gone for like what, a week?
10 days.
Oh, okay.
There's a lot of places to go in 10 days, but I tested negative for COVID yesterday.
Nice.
So that's all around a successful trip.
Yeah, I would say.
I
would say.
And it was really, really fun.
I went skiing in Colorado.
She only cried once.
I only cried once. And for some context, this is my second time going skiing. And if this is your first time listening, welcome. 1, 2.
Happy to have you.
Yes, thank you for coming here and being with us today. But the first time I went skiing with Mr. Liz, I just trusted him, which might have been a little ignorant on my behalf, but we were just kind of trying to like scrape it together and not have to pay much money. So my ski boots were rentals. They were very uncomfortable. And my toes hurt for like a week. And then we borrowed someone's powder skis. So they're wider, they're harder to ski in. And then he also took me to the top of Mount Hood, which I think all of the other things would have been okay. But being at the top of Mount Hood, having never skied before, and not knowing what I was doing, it was really hard. And it started off by him punching me in the face to catch me from basically tomahawking down Mount Hood to my death. So this was a much better experience. I was the star of my beginning skiing class.
Speed demon. I saw they called you.
I
was so proud. I was following on Twitter like, that's my fucking...
But I did cry because on day 2 we got a lot of fresh snow and I've never skied in powder, obviously. That's what the ski people call it.
Fresh
That's
pow?
what like the little like cute snow bunnies call it. Is
shredding that gnar?
Yeah, I was shredding the gnar. No, I've never...
I hate it.
I've never been on it's hard. It's like you move slower in like fresh snow and it's all fluffy.
That makes sense.
It's fun, but like I kept getting stuck and then I didn't feel confident like turning the other way. So like all of these like people who are like stoked that it's fresh snow are like flying past me, and then our snowboarder friends were like, all right, we're getting cold, so we're gonna leave. And then like, so Mr. Liz is just waiting for me at the bottom of this hill, and then he's like, you need to turn the other way. I was like, I can't do it. And he's like, I felt like a kid doing math with their dad. I was like I like turn around and I kind of finally make it down to him. And then I was like, this is hard. I feel like I forgot everything I learned yesterday. And then I just started like, I was weeping. I was like,
Liz. Oh, man. I would have been so fucking frustrated.
When you're just frustrated and you're like, I just need to cry for a second.
Yeah.
And then I was good the rest of the day. I even went off a jump.
I'm honestly impressed. You went off a jump?
Yeah.
I'm impressed. Truly, like, you only crying one. I would have cried, like, thinking about, I will cry if I think about skiing for too long. So I'm honestly so proud of you.
Thank you. I had a lot of fun.
20 out of 10 experience as an outsider. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. That's my fucking girl.
You being proud of me is the only reason I did it.
Hell. I know. That's why I'm telling you.
All I need is.
That's why I'm fucking telling you.
But
I said to everyone.
Truthfully, when Mr. Liz is cheering me on, I feel so cool.
Yeah, I bet.
He showed me a video of me. I was like, can I see the video of me skiing? Because he's been doing it his whole life. So he like can just like take his phone out and record me while I'm fighting for my goddamn life. On these fucking snow sticks. and then I was like, can I see it? And I thought I was like absolutely shredding. And then I look like a baby deer.
You know?
Like, all right, that
fact
humbled
that you
me.
Felt good is a fucking win.
I compared it to my first ski video and there's a obvious improvement.
Everyone starts somewhere.
Yeah. He was like, you're doing really well for only 2 days of skiing. And then our other friends were hyping me up. I feel like I've talked about this for too long. I'm just bragging now.
You deserve to brag. Yeah.
I did very well for what was expected of me.
Hell yeah. That's great. I'm glad you had such a good time.
It was nice.
We went on 2 completely different adventures these past couple of weeks.
I think I don't know if you felt this way while you were taking a little break, but it was nice to not think about anything else.
Word. I had so much shit to think of. My brother's bachelor party was a success. He was so fucking happy
because you're like the sister of honor, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or what the
best man ended up the best sister. I'll take that.
The best
man did so much fucking planning, but he just like wasn't communicating it to me because it's like he's like, this is my job. He's like my second brother, so he was like, it's fine, Amelia, chill out, I got it. But he did such a good job planning. Our Airbnb host canceled on us a week before. Did I tell you this?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So we found a really, really great place. And the people that lived there like very clearly did like lots of drugs. It was like a really cool spot. And I learned so much about shit that I never wanted to know about my brother. But it was his bachelor party. So I was like just like chilling and like being like the cool sister. You know?
I feel like your brother and my brother are like in that they're like, why would you do this to me?
Yes.
When it came to starting a sex and dating podcast.
The entire weekend, he kept going, like whenever anybody would like do something that he didn't approve of or like did something that like he wasn't happy about, he'd be like, that's not very sex positive of you. Or he'd be like, that's very sex negative. Like he kept bringing up the podcast and he's like, yeah, I have to keep remembering that my sister has a sex podcast. Like it kept coming up. It was so fucking funny.
That is really funny, actually. And it's one of those things where like a joke gets funnier the more you bring it up.
It was constant. The last day he kept saying it.
There's a word for that in comedy.
What is it?
I learned. It's called the game.
Ooh.
So the game is like you keep doing this thing or repeating this thing and it's part of the joke. I probably just completely fucked up that description. But
well, no, I think that, I mean, whatever it is.
Was explaining it on TikTok.
Oh, shit. We know one of those. Anyway.
We do.
Moving on. But yeah, no, it was a success. But this brings me to the first thing that I wanted to ask you about that I learned at the bachelor party.
Okay.
It's a phrase that I had never heard. I brought it up to Squints today and he was like, yeah, everybody knows that. I'm like, if Liz knows this, I'm going to jump off of the roof.
I'm excited.
Do you know what the term pushing rope is?
No.
Thank God. Okay.
I've only heard of pushing pee.
Oh yeah, that's like pushing positivity. It's the stupidest goddamn thing.
Oh,
I've ever
that's
heard.
what pee means?
That's what I saw in Urban Dictionary.
I thought it meant cool. Like pee just meant like cool. I don't know.
Who knows?
I have no idea.
The youths way ahead of me.
I was asking the kids at work. I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna own it. I don't know what the fuck this means. We had to try and explain it to a client, and they're like, we don't know what you're talking about, but we trust you.
It sounds like Percocet, pushing Percocet.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, my dad got bucked off a horse. Did I tell you this?
No.
Oh my God. This is speaking of Percocet. My dad got bucked off a horse and broke 3 ribs and
God.
like fucked up like a lot of his spine,
When
his
was
spinal
this?
tissue when I was in Florida.
Oh my.
I know.
What the fuck?
I know. Yeah. And he was like, I'm fine. And then every time he would move, he'd be like, ah, like, I'm like, Dad, you're clearly not fine. Like, go get an MRI. And he did. And he broke some ribs. So he's taking Percocet. He's on a fucking another level.
God.
Only him. 72 years old and just like getting bucked off horses.
I wouldn't have even guessed your dad was 72.
I know. Cause he acts like he's like 18. He listens to
Well,
this.
he also looks.
That's a compliment, Dad.
He looks significantly younger than that.
Yeah, he has a really young soul. He did like a heart test, like a cardiac test, and he has the heart health of a 50-year-old.
Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
My dad has gout, so.
My dad has gout.
Gout dads.
Gout dads.
I was trying not to hit the mic. I think that's the episode title. Gout dads.
Nice. My dad has gout.
You know what? All dads are the fucking same, okay? They all clip their cell phone to their belt. They love New Balances. Does your dad wear New Balances?
And he also he doesn't clip his phone to his belt either.
They have gout.
They definitely do have gout.
They care about the thermostat.
Yes.
So much.
They go to Great Clips or Sports Clips.
Yeah, my dad is bald, so
But he would.
if he had hair, that's what he would do. And what else do dads like?
Golf.
Oh, my dad does really like golf.
My dad fucking loves golf.
That's because it's just like outdoor drinking with the boys.
Yeah.
I respect that.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a good time.
Well, see, when my dad broke his back, he was with the guy that he was riding horses with is a literal spine doctor. So that was like,
oh,
yeah,
that's good.
And my mom was texting this guy like, what is he going to live? And my dad was texting him like, when can I play golf again? He's like, I'm confused. Are you hurt?
Is he gonna die?
Like, is he all right?
When can I play golf again? That's funny.
Golf, gout. There's another G for sure. Golf, gout, and gas.
Oh, my dad loves getting gas at the Costco.
My dad loves Costco gas.
Yes,
Gout,
and Costco.
golf, and Costco gas.
Mm-hmm. And the thermostat.
We got it. Okay, back to pushing rope. So
oh yeah.
So apparently that's the term for when you like.
Wait, can I guess?
Yes.
Pushing rope.
Yes.
I would guess it's if you're trying to push a poop out. You know when you have like a ropey kind of poop?
Yeah.
It's not
That's not
it's
it.
neither hard nor soft. And you're like
that part of it.
wow,
That
it's like
part
a
of it, you're
snake.
close with that definition.
Okay. So pushing pee.
Mm-mm.
Oh, sorry. I guess they mean the same thing. Pushing rope / pee. Is it when your dick isn't completely hard and you're trying to put it in?
Yes.
Wow.
Nice.
Gout dads.
That is what it is. I did not realize there was a term for it. But it's like if you're trying to push rope through a hole, it like kind of like buckles.
Oh yeah.
It's pushing rope.
I mean, we've all been there. They're like, I know it'll get hard when it's
That's
in there.
exactly what they said. That's what all the guys at the back, they were all saying when I was there, they're like, we have to have you sign an NDA. But this is all I'll say about what we talked about at the bachelor party. They were saying that it's like there is the expectation that you put it in and it's going to get hard. But if you're drinking, that's not always the case, you know?
Uh-huh.
Well, and other reasons, as we've talked about, but we were talking about it in terms of drinking. It might not. And then you're just trying to push a rope through a hole.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was such a funny phrase. It just is such a perfect visual.
You just made me have like a flashback. I cannot remember who this was.
Oh God.
We were having sex and they were like sitting down and I was like on top and I like bent my pelvis in a weird way and it bent their dick and they were hurt and got soft.
Was he like, ah?
Yes.
Oh God, that happened on Grey's Anatomy.
I cannot remember who it was.
You like blacked it out. You're just like, we're just not gonna.
I just think that not that I've had a lot of sex. It's like I've had a lot of sex with like one person. on a few occasions. Like at least 3 or 4 people where it's like consistent sex for a year.
Heard.
So then you're like, which dude was it?
Yeah. Which guy's dick did I break?
Yeah. I hope one of them that deserved it. It might have been my ex. I honestly can't remember. Man,
I was like,
yeah.
I hope it was
I don't know. It might have been. But I do feel like we continued when he felt better.
Well, that's good. There's at least a champ about it.
I think so.
But that sounds painful AF.
I have been reading a book. I do know how to read. As some of the male TikTok commenters might be confused about, I do know how to read. But I've been reading this book called Word Slut by Amanda Montell, and she is a linguist.
Ooh.
Which is like someone who fucking studies language.
I love that. What
It's
a
so
cool title to have. I want to be a linguist.
She also co-hosts a podcast with her friend Issa, and it's called Sounds Like a Cult, because she also wrote the book right there, Cultish, which is about the language of fanaticism.
Oh, hell yeah.
So this book, Word Slut, is more about how the history of language and like the English language is like inherently misogynistic, essentially.
What isn't?
And just how certain words that used to be like non-binary have become ways to insult women. So I thought that was really interesting. But I thought this was some interesting food for thought. In my college sociolinguistics classes, I started learning about some of the subtle ways gender stereotypes are hidden in English, like how the term penetration implies and reinforces the idea that sex is from the male perspective. Like sex is defined as something a man does to a woman. The opposite might be envelopment or enclosure. Can you imagine how different life would be if that's how we referred to sex? If women were linguistically framed as the protagonists of any given sexual scenario, could that potentially mean that a woman's orgasm, as opposed to a dude's, would be seen as the proverbial climax, the ultimate goal? Questions like that blew my mind.
Wow.
I thought that was so interesting too. Like, just these little words that you're not paying attention to, like penetration. You're not thinking like, oh, I am being penetrated.
Yeah.
But those types of words do place men as the protagonist of sex.
Damn. Holy shit. It's so important to recognize like how much internalized misogyny we have as women too, not recognizing that that's how these words are being used. Like I've always thought of penetration as like the other way around. Always.
Yeah.
And I like never, because that's just like how we've been socialized to think about it.
Men perform penetration on women.
We're not being penetrated.
Yeah.
Damn.
Or like men aren't being enveloped or enclosed. Which is, I like that so much more. It sounds like safe and like
a hug.
Yeah.
We're hugging
a
hugging
penis
your wiener.
hug.
A little wiener hug.
But there was another part of this book that I wanted to read. Also, she calls it word slut because she explains like linguistically, like the word slut it has all the components that we like as just people. Like it's fast and it's short. It's a short word, and then it has like the slut, like a nice T at the end, consonants. And the like it rolls off your tongue.
Yeah. I love the word slut.
Slut.
Whore.
I like it too.
Whore.
Slut.
Slut.
There's a section where she explains cunt and the word cunt. Not what it is, but she explains why we like it. Just say cunt so many times.
Cunt.
What is largely considered the English language's most offensive term for women didn't actually start as an insult at all. Cunt's roots are also up for debate, but most sources agree they can be traced back to the Proto-Indo-European world sound k, like cu, which indicated femininity. The same cu is like k is also related to modern words cow and queen. The Latin terms cuneus, meaning wedge, is also connected to cunt, as the old Dutch word kunt, like K-U-N-T-E,
kunt,
which gives the word its dramatic final T. For centuries, cunt was used to refer to women's external genitalia without any negative nuances whatsoever. But like so many other terms referencing femaleness, it didn't stay that way. What's particularly interesting about cunt's pejoration, so she explains that pejoration is when a word starts out with like a neutral meaning and becomes negative. Is that it is directly linked to human history itself. 10,000 years ago, when Homo sapiens lived nomadic lifestyles, wandering from place to place, men and women all had multiple sexual partners, and female sexuality was considered totally normal and great. It wasn't until human beings stopped moving that women with sexual independence started gaining a bad rap, because once owning land became desirable, people wanted to be able to pass it down to their children. And in order for men to know who their children were, female monogamy became a must. To create a system of inheritance, societies became patriarchal, and any remaining notions of goddess-like sexual liberation went kaput. With the end of women's sexual liberation came a general disgust for female sexuality, dooming words like cunt forever, or until the end of patriarchy at least. But I thought that was so interesting to see how the repulsion of women's sexuality has become like this where we are now, essentially, which is just like a constant fight to be treated like a person.
Yeah.
And like why there are just like a lot of men, and you'll see them in our comments, that just they don't care about women.
No.
They don't treat them like people. They don't care about them. And it's because they've inherited this idea that female sexuality is bad.
Yeah.
And it has very old roots, as we can tell from this book, because it goes on to explain like just that's linguistics have played a huge role in something that we're all experiencing.
Yes, 100%. It's been so interesting to see how men online react when women have a voice. You know, how these words have been being used as insults for like pussy is another one. I was watching
she talks about that too,
the history of curse words, hosted by Nicolas Cage on Netflix, which is super fucking random. But how like that was just kind of a word that people used, and now it's like used as an insult. Cunt is the same, and it's like whenever there's any sort of like semblance of like women being thought of as like an equal in any sense, it's like shot down in history, like over and over again. And as she's saying in this too, like whenever the patriarchy ends, maybe that'll change, but like who the fuck knows when that's going to be? Probably not in our lifetime. Which is sad.
Maybe see,
it's just like little tiny little baby steps, and we are lucky in a lot of ways, obviously being white women in America.
Oh yeah.
And still we get so much like hate thrown our way from just being like just like existing on specifically TikTok. I know that we were like talking about how like this ties into like the hate that we're getting from just like being people, and how words have evolved around our experience as women, and how like we've internalized that as well. Like cunt is I grew up thinking that was like the actual worst word ever. You know, it's like you can say anything but cunt. And once I started saying it, I was like, cunt. It's just like it's such a fun word to say. I couldn't stop saying it. Cunt.
Cunt, fucking slut.
They say cunt in Australia,
so
and
yeah, and it means
England.
like buddy.
Yeah.
One thing that she does mention, I haven't even really gotten through this book, and I can't wait to finish it because it's just so interesting and you learn so much. But she does point out like some words are being reclaimed. And we have, I mean, I think a lot of our listeners are pretty aware. But I think that we should all acknowledge that we have Black women to thank for that. Black women have done an amazing job at reclaiming words that the patriarchy uses to insult us. Like bad bitch.
Yes.
Like Black women are the first people to make the word bad mean something like badass or cool or like sexy. Like,
yes.
So she lists a few words that are just we can thank Black women for changing them. She also goes on to mention that since the late 1990s, Black female recording artists have used the phrase bad bitch to refer to a confident, desirable woman as opposed to a mean or hostile one. Kudos to Trina's 1999 song "Da Baddest Bitch" and Rihanna's "Bad Bitch." Mm-hmm. Hip hop is also responsible for the word hoe, and she spells it Heaux, a Frencher looking and thus chicer and more pleasant alternative spelling to hose that my female friends and I began using in 2017.
I love it being
I thought
so
it was
that
really
way.
funny.
Yeah.
But I just love that. Like, here we are, the Holy Hour, reclaiming a fucking word used as an insult against women.
Mm-hmm.
I love that for us.
I love it too. Look at us.
Should we high five?
Gout dads. Love it.
I'm like, let's just high five. And not to talk your ear off too much more, but I do think that one other piece of this that is so meaningful and helpful that I did come across was so like, why do we go along with this type of language? Why, if we as women are so often like villainized in linguistics and just in language, we're like repulsive, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
She says, I'll offer the simple answer first. In our culture, men run the show. Women are taught to follow their leads, to please them, and thus we go out of our way to fit into semantic categories set up for us. Prude or whore, bitch or sweetheart, princess or dyke. But there is a slightly more complex answer too, which says what's really going on is that women happen to be better at a thing called listening. Cornell linguist Sally McConnell-Ginnett once argued that women on the whole have become better at picking up on thoughts, feelings, and perspectives of the people they're talking to. Theoretically, that should be a good thing, but where this gets tricky is that this generally ends up giving men more space to project the particular metaphors that make sense to them all over our culture's collective vocabulary, as if their perspectives are the only ones that count. McConnell-Ginnett explains it like this. The more one talks and the less one listens, the more likely it is that one's viewpoint will function as if it were community consensus, even if it is not. The idea here is that on some level, women are aware that dudes have come to understand their viewpoint as the only one that exists and wouldn't pick up on the metaphors that represent women's positions even if they tried. If they did, sissy might mean the word we use for good friend instead of buddy, and pussy might be what we call, I don't know, a warrior badass queen. Mm-hmm. But as McConnell-Ginnett says, the more attention one pays to perspectives different from one's own, the more likely one is to give tacit, indeed sometimes unwitting, support to these other views simply by being able to understand them. Thus, women's experiences wind up getting squashed under their own generosity as listeners. Stop listening, women. Stop listening entirely and just talking over men and gaslighting them. Gaslight, girl boss, gatekeep. That's
all day.
Yeah, that's all you need.
That was a period at the end of the fucking sentence. Damn, thank you for reading that.
Yeah.
I want to meet her.
Me too. Maybe we will.
I have kind of a gross topic.
I want to hear.
It's not on the list.
Oh, it's not on the list?
No.
Okay. I'm nervous.
I'm nervous. It's not anything you should be nervous about. So, I was thinking the other day, I actually think about this frequently, but I was thinking about how I wanted to talk about this on the podcast because I feel like maybe this is just a me issue, but it's probably not. You masturbate in the middle of the day.
Yeah.
Sometimes. Same. Mm-hmm. I have realized I am wildly uncomfortable for the rest of the day if I masturbate in the middle of the day.
Really?
I get like swamp vag.
Interesting.
I'm like wet for the entire day. And not in like a I'm still like turned on kind of way. Up. I'm just lubed up for the entire. I have to take a shower after I masturbate.
Really?
Every single time.
Huh.
I hate it. You don't have this issue, clearly.
No.
I want to know if anybody else does. Can you let us know?
I feel like I would feel like that if I were having sex.
I don't have the issue when I have sex. It's very, very strange. Unless I'm having sex with a condom, then I'm like lubed up all day, and I hate that fucking feeling. You have to
put lube on the condom,
right? But me and Squints, I'm only sleeping with Squints. We haven't used a condom in a while, and I don't have that issue.
You don't need to brag. Just kidding. I'm over here not on any hormonal birth control.
We cut this out of a past episode, but anyone that has Mirena, it's 7 years, not 5 years, baby.
Oh, yeah. It's good to know.
It's new info. If you have Mirena, it was a 5-year birth control method. Now they've extended that to 7. Anyway, I'm not having sex with condoms with Squints because we're only sleeping with each other. And I don't have the issue. But if I masturbate, maybe I just make myself so wet. But I get swamp vag. So I wanted to open this up to the audience. Please.
Do you get swamp vag?
Tell me if you get swamp vag.
I get swamp vag when I'm working out.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And swamp ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same whenever I work out.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Just be getting sweaty.
Anyway, all right, new topic. I haven't talked about this on the podcast yet.
I know. When you texted me, because you're like, have I talked about this? And I was like, well, I need more detail.
Yeah, I mean, so this is also a good.
What the fuck?
This is a good like.
Not only have you not talked about this on the podcast, you haven't told me this story.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Fuck. Maybe as I tell it, maybe I have. I'd be surprised if I haven't.
Okay.
But this would be like this is a good.
To be fair, you do have a lot of shocking stories.
That's true. I do. This is like a.
You've been through some shit.
I really have. I did something in a past life. I don't know what it was. But I'm sorry.
No. The universe was gearing you up to talk about it on this podcast.
That's true. Everything has led up to this lifetime.
Exactly.
Amen. But this is a good like commercial, I guess, for we're going to do Sexual Assault Awareness Month again next month in April. Consent is my kink merch was what we did last year. We're going to be selling those again. We'll talk about this more in the future, but this is a good kind of peek into the kind of conversations that we're going to have, because this is about power dynamics. Last year we talked about this in terms of, we named him Charles Manson because he was running an entire cult. That's probably why I didn't talk about it, because that was like a heavy fucking topic at the moment. When I was in college, I was really bad at math. I'm still bad at math, but in college I was bad at math. And I was taking, the class was Math 114. If you like took an exam and got into Math 114, which miraculously I did, that was the only math class you had to take if you passed it.
The class name Math 114, I feel like, is giving me a flashback.
Yeah, I know.
I only took math my freshman year because I was like, that's the first thing I'm removing from my hard drive of my brain.
Fuck
of
math.
my
noggin. I took Math 114. And my professor was this young gent who was so hot. He looked like what's the fucking James Dean, like the actor, not the porn star.
So Amelia sent me a picture of this guy, and I said he looked like Nate Jacobs.
I could totally see that.
For my Euphoria sluts out there.
Yeah, in that picture he definitely did. But yeah, he looked like James Dean. I was like a kind of like a teacher's pet with like all of my professors, because I'd like just gotten to college and we had like all of this like narrative fed to us from high school teachers about how hard college was going to be.
Oh my God. Also, low-key, I can kind of see that from you just because like of how close of a relationship you have with your parents.
Yeah.
So and it's the same thing I would suspect with like your therapist. Like you picked her because you felt like you were talking to one of your parents, whereas I'm the opposite. I'm like, I don't want to just sit in the back of the class.
You want to talk to somebody that's like a friend. Yeah, totally. That's interesting. That's good insight. Well, this guy, I was really close with like a few of my high school teachers, and so he was kind of like that. Like I felt instantly connected to him because he was just like young and cool. And during Parents Weekend in October, so it was a month after we started school, he like asked to meet my parents, and I was like, okay, because I thought that was just like a thing that they did, you know?
Oh.
I wasn't like, because we had a small class, it was like 20 people, so I was like, maybe he's like meeting everyone's parents this weekend. I didn't think anything of it. So we like came and met my parents and like sat outside with us, and like my mom was like, that was interesting, he wanted to meet us, and I was like, I think he's doing this with everyone. I didn't think anything of it. Fast forward to we had like I'm not going to fast forward yet. I was in his office a lot late at night, like getting extra help from him. When I say I'm bad at math, I'm like, I have like a learned helplessness. Even if I understand it, I'm going to fuck up somehow. Like I'm just bad at math.
I can relate to that.
It's never made any sense to me.
You should try having a dad who is a math teacher, because
oh Jesus, I didn't know he was a math teacher.
Yeah, you could spend your entire childhood just like crying at the kitchen table.
Oh hell. Wow, I didn't know he was a math teacher.
Yeah,
was he
doesn't
able to
that make
help
a lot
with
of
your own?
sense?
It does. It does make sense. I could see him being a math teacher.
Sort of. He would try and help me, but I just like did not get a lot of stuff. And then he'd get mad at me.
We're both just like more artistic brained.
And
that's great.
I'd be like,
I love that for us.
Just let me fucking read Shakespeare and write an essay about it.
Hell yeah.
In 3 minutes. Anyways,
I thrived in film class, mostly because it was the easiest class ever. Anyway, so I was in his office all the time, and like he would always like, we like had a friendship kind of like. Since I would be in there so late, we would spend all these hours together. He would like put his head down on the desk that I was working at, like all my shit at, and he'd be like, "I'm so tired," and I'd be like, "Oh, you gotta go to sleep." Da, da, da. It was just like that was the kind of like rapport we had. And then during finals week, he had like a big class study group the night before the final where all of us were in there, and he was like pale and like looking like really tired and just like tapped. And so I emailed him when I got back from that study group with a question about the test. And then at the end of the email, I was like, "You look really tired. I hope you get some sleep. See you tomorrow."
yeah.
He emailed me back and he was just like, "Our relationship is getting inappropriate. I would appreciate if you didn't email me like this anymore." It was literally a question with like a fun little close at the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's just like a thoughtful thing.
I hadn't.
That's like when my boss was emailed me like when she knew I had a rough day, and she was like, "I'm thinking of you today." Like
it's just like
it's a thoughtful thing.
It's a thoughtful thing. And so I was like, "Bitch, fucking relax." All of my roommates, I was like, I lived in a suite, and like I called all of them in. I was like, "Did I fuck up? Like, is this like an inappropriate thing for me to say?" And they're all like, "No." So I emailed him back and I'm like, "I am so sorry. Like you just look tired." And he emailed me back and he was like, "It's fine. I just can't wait to not be in a position of power with you anymore." And I was like, "Como se va?" So I took the final, turned it in.
What the fuck are you talking about?
The next day I like didn't even look at him.
If I were 18, 19, I would have no idea what the hell was going on.
I was so fucking confused.
Like, what do you mean a position of power?
Yeah, right. So I asked my roommates, I'm like, "Is he hitting on me?" And they were like, "No, let's just say no," you know, because like in that like I had nothing to compare it to.
Yeah, because he's a teacher.
Right. So I took the final, turned it in, and before I got back to my dorm, he had emailed me and he was like, "Loved being your teacher. I would love to see you now that I'm not your teacher anymore." And I was like kind of hyped because he was like so hot, and like I didn't see an issue with it at the moment because I was just kind of like, oh,
because you're still fucking you're still a fucking child.
Yeah, right, exactly.
In my opinion, if you're 20 and under, you're a child.
Yes, agreed. And he knew that. I was trying to think how old he must have been. Like 30 at the time.
You're
too old.
Literally still a teenager. The word teen is still in the age you are.
So I kind of entertained it in the moment, and I was just like, I would love that. I like love you as a person. I didn't say love, but like I did. I like enjoyed being around him. He was just like fucking cool. And
you had built like a bond.
Exactly. Yeah. I had spent so much time with him.
Yeah. And then you're like stoked like the hot teacher's into you.
Yeah. And like
there's something cool and sexy about it, but
totally. It was like very like cinematic.
Mm-hmm.
And like every girl in my class was like felt the same about him. They were all like, "Oh my God, he's so fucking hot." Like da da da. And like he knew he was hot shit. So I was just like, nice. Cause I got zero attention from boys in high school. So I was lit. And he emailed me back and he was just like, all of those nights where I would like put my head on your desk that you were working at and say I was tired, I like wanted you to come home with me. Yeah. And then he would be like, I would have to take cold showers after, like, to calm myself down. Yeah, he would like recall outfits that I had worn. He was like, I had these like purple fishnets that I would wear. I don't fucking know. And he talked about them.
We all had like a quirky girl phase.
We did. I was still in mine.
Mine was they weren't fishnets, but they were tights with rips in them.
Ooh,
because I was edgy.
Oh hell yeah! They were. I
wanted it to look like
rips.
I fell through a bunch of bushes. So,
and maybe you did. Nobody will ever fucking know. Mind your fucking business.
Like, I'm so cool.
Anyway, he like
brought up the purple fishnets.
And then he brought up like yoga pants that I would wear. And like he was just like,
this is all very objectifying.
oh yeah, he would talk about shit that I was wearing. He would like, it got to the point where like very, very quickly that I was very uncomfortable.
Everything you've told me, he hasn't said a single thing about who you are as a person, why he likes you. It's only like, I want to fuck you, child.
He knew, I'm certain, that I wouldn't pick up on it because I was so young.
Yes.
Like I loved getting compliments about my appearance at that age. I was like,
oh,
hell
of
yeah.
course.
Because I was also very insecure.
Listen,
I still do.
Yeah.
But
who doesn't like to be told they're cute?
right now, if I was 28, like getting my like PhD and a professor hit on me, I'd be like, oh, okay, that's kind of like, what's up? But like, it would still kind of be like, maybe we shouldn't do this. Back then, I was so clueless about like how fucked up this was.
Yeah. Someone in their 30s. Like he clearly was aware because he acknowledged it. And then going after, I bet this isn't even the first time he's done that.
No, definitely not.
And going after someone who he knows is too young to know that something is not right, that they're being groomed, that it's inappropriate. So
yeah, exactly. And then I started to pick up on like, not really pick up, I started to just get like uncomfortable because like I was so inexperienced. I was still a virgin at this point, and I just like didn't really know how to like interact in this kind of way. And I was starting to feel like because whenever I would tell anyone about this, they'd be like, Amelia, this like isn't normal.
Yeah.
He would like ask me what I was doing, and I would say like, oh, I'm studying in the library. And then he would like come and wait outside the library for me, and he'd be like, I'm waiting for you out here. And I'd be like, I'm stuck in a study group. And then I would just not leave the library. Even if I wasn't in a study group, I would just like wouldn't leave the library because I would be so fucking scared. And then he ended up transferring schools like very abruptly. And then I added him on Snapchat like 2 years later because I was kind of like, I wonder what he's up to. And it was like when Snapchat was like a thing.
Yeah.
And he,
at that point you can drink, so you've like been through some shit.
Yeah. Got some hair on my back. What? Don't know what that meant.
Some hair on your chest.
That was a stream of consciousness. But he texted me right when I added him on Snapchat, and he was like, I would appreciate if you would leave me alone. Yeah.
What the fuck did you do?
Nothing. But I'm certain that he got in trouble at his new school for doing that exact thing and was like very, very on guard. And that was it. I had never heard from him again. I still have his number. I kind of want to hit him up and just be like, what are you doing?
Wait, so are professors not allowed to hook up with students? Maybe not their own student?
No, I mean, I think if they're currently your student, they're not allowed to because there's like you could get like a certain grade. A geology professor at my school got fired because of that. He was like hooking up with a student and like giving her A's.
I heard a rumor a Spanish teacher at my school was doing that with the men. She was a woman. She was my Spanish teacher.
In college?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
I don't have anyone I can ask. I honestly don't know if it's true or not.
Damn. Was she hot?
No.
Oh, okay.
She's like some weird granola lady.
Well, I was just thinking because it's like I could see people like starting rumors. You know,
she's
like
definitely
a hot professor.
I mean, for her age, I mean, she's like so fit.
Oh hell yeah!
But to me, she was just like kind of crunchy.
Understood.
But not in like a cute way.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It's always
there's like hot crunchy and gross crunchy.
God, I went to school in Bellingham, Washington. Like everyone is fucking crunchy. Do you remember hearing about Mary Kay Letourneau? The teacher in high school. She was a high school teacher, I think.
I mean, I've heard of a few circumstances.
She was hooking up with like a 14-year-old, and she ended up getting pregnant with his baby. She was like in jail.
A couple stories like that.
They ended up getting married and like having multiple kids. She recently died like a few years, maybe like a year ago.
How old was she?
She had cancer. She was like in her 50s, I think.
Have you ever noticed how like people who are really terrible always get cancer?
Yeah. Damn.
Like a lot of like serial killers die because they got cancer.
It's
they
such
die
an easy
in prison
way
or
out.
Something. I know.
Fucking rot in prison. Anyway, so yeah, I'm just surprised I had never talked about that. But he was an interesting case. It was like kind of a bragging right for me for a while because I was like a kid, and I look back on it now and I'm like, that's so fucked up, that power dynamic. And he was such a dweeb. Like looking back on it now, thinking about how he was, total dweeb.
Like what if what if a man, what if he hit on you now? You'd be like, you're a fucking weirdo.
Yeah. He was definitely a weird dude. He was hot. Like, definitely. He was a beautiful man. He took care of himself.
I bet he was like, he's either the type of guy who was not hot in high school. So he's like kind of fucking weird.
Yeah.
Or he was super hot in high school, and then women his own age are like, your personality sucks and you're fucking weird and creepy.
Yep.
So then he's just going for younger people he has control over.
Probably. I think that he's definitely
only two things I can.
I think he recently got hot for sure. He's also he was getting his PhD in math history, which is like, what are you planning on doing with that PhD? It is, but like, what are you doing?
Yeah,
you're getting an advanced degree in math history. Like, what are you going to do? You're just going to be a professor
go
for
back
forever.
In time.
And if your only option
he wants to time travel to be the same age as you.
I'm waiting for you. No, but like if your only like career path is to be a professor, which really all you can do is write a book or be a professor with that PhD. That's all you can do. Don't fuck it up by hooking up with students. Oh my God.
Talk about the history of math.
Wow. What a niche.
Because there are new hot people who are amazing. Yeah. I love a new hot person.
Hell yeah.
People who are new to being hot are funny and interesting. I feel like you can go one of two ways when you're new hot.
Yeah.
When you're new hot, you just end up becoming like a heartthrob.
Word.
And marrying someone really great. Or you resent all of the people that didn't want to date you in the past.
Damn.
And then you become some weird red pillar.
Oh my God. Word. I had a huge crush in college on this guy who I ended up making out with once. It was like my crowning achievement, who was overweight growing up, and he lost a bunch of weight and like got a bunch of money, and he was just like swaggy and like really like confident and just like always like spoiled everyone around him because he like didn't have anything and now he does, but he still had like the heart of somebody that like never got attention. And it was, but not in like a way that's like I want attention, like in a way that's like he like appreciated the little things, and it was the creme de la creme of like personality combination.
Yeah,
you know,
like good for you.
Like you went through it and it shows, and I appreciate you as a person now.
So to put a little
this is fascinating
bookmark, or what do we want to call this?
We're
wrapping this up.
Oh yeah, put a little fork. We're putting a fork in this convo. Stick a fork in it. We're done. That's what people say.
I meant like to end the episode. Like, what would we call this? A hat.
To put a little top hat, to cherry on top.
Yeah, a little cherry on top of our Gout Dad episode. I just love that. I want to talk about what Miss Kimberly Kardashian was quoted saying. I believe it was Vanity Fair.
Yeah.
They were like, Kim, what's your advice to working women? And she's like, my advice is get your ass up and fucking work. Like,
thank you, Kimberly.
It's essentially just like another rich person with generational wealth telling us all to stop being poor. Yeah, my advice is to don't be poor. Have you thought of that? None of this toxic workplace.
There's kind of like a catch-22 with this, because I think it's fucked up, because I agree. She has the generational wealth. She has a lot of money to hire like childcare, house cleaners.
This is exactly what I was gonna say.
Yeah,
like she is so wildly out of touch because like she can work her ass off because she has time to work her ass off.
Yes.
So the way she is able to afford that time is because she has enough money to pay for childcare, to pay for people to do all of the daily shit that takes us so much time, like cleaning our house, doing our hair and makeup, if we even want to fucking do that, making our food for us, doing like daily communication and chores, and like even driving. If you imagine how much you could get done if someone was driving you. and you could just be on your phone doing work.
Yeah.
And I mean, I have no doubt that Kim probably does do a lot of shit.
Of course.
I think her lifestyle is very demanding.
100%.
However, it's completely out of touch to think that anyone who doesn't have what she has is lazy.
Yes. This is also the other thing too, is like she got to do the boss bitch climb before having kids.
Exactly.
And not a lot of people get to do that.
I was thinking about that too. And even like we don't know what types of fertility care Kim has access to, but like those types of things, like she could get a surrogate if she fucking wanted.
Yeah.
You know, she could get her eggs frozen.
And she did. She did get a surrogate for her last 2 kids.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Oh, I watched this shit religiously.
Yeah, see, I didn't even know she had a surrogate, but
yeah.
See, shit like that.
Yeah.
You're not sacrificing your body, your time, your energy.
It's just like, see, this is my issue, is because like, as well as it was the same thing with Kylie. Like everyone's so quick to like jump on the Kardashians about shit. And Kylie's a Jenner, but you know what I mean. Like Kylie was like listed like the first self-made billionaire under 30 or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
And she's not self-made. She like came from like a really rich family, and also she works hard. But like the fact that like Kim now has said like, get off your ass and fucking work, and we're all like, Kim, we're dying. Kim, people are dying.
Yeah.
Like it's like truly, she's living a completely different reality than the rest of people.
Well, and she totally like, I think her announcing or like basically confirming she has a relationship with Pete Davidson is a way to distract us all from her being criticized from her fucking out of touch, awful interview with Vanity Fair.
The devil works hard, but Kris Jenner works harder.
Like, well, you should announce that you're dating Pete Davidson. And then Kris is like, Pete, say some crazy shit to Kanye.
Oh my God. Wait, hold on. But that text thread, incredible. I've never been more attracted. I woke up this morning. For an 8 a.m. meeting. I had a sex dream about Pete Davidson this morning.
Oh, I'm so jealous.
Oh, and then I woke up and the meeting got fucking canceled. And I was like, I could have been fucking Pete Davidson right now. You bitches. But this, Liz had the great idea for our sex fact of the week.
What did you want to call this? The more you hoe?
Hey, the more you hoe. Like the more you know. You get it, 90s kids?
Yeah.
Okay.
The more you hoe.
To talk about what a stay-at-home mom would make. Well, stay-at-home parent is actually the headline, but if we're talking in terms of Kim K, stay-at-home mom, fucking, I love her. I've defended you, Kim. We were all rooting for you, Kim.
Yeah, we had your
back
you with the Kanye shit.
Oh, Jesus.
And while I don't defend anything Kanye's done, I'm just not gonna have your back anymore. Not that you need it.
No, we were really holding you up. You're fucked now, Kim. But anyway, Liz had the idea to talk about what a stay-at-home parent would make, and so I looked up investopedia.com. I'm sure these numbers are different everywhere, but this is the one that we saw. I'm congested as fuck. Tested negative for COVID. I already said that. According to 2019 data from salary.com, if you are a stay-at-home parent and paid for your services, you would be looking at a median annual salary of $178,000.
That's only the median.
That's the median.
So max would probably be around like 300,000. The median. That's insane.
It says, why? Because many stay-at-home parents work around the clock. If you have young children, work can often mean nighttime feedings, greeting, early morning risers, and late night meal prep. In addition, a stay-at-home parent wears many hats and must employ many skills as a tutor, negotiator, nurse, party planner, and chef for starters. It's so true. You have my friends that are focusing, all of my friends that have kids right now are working, and then they come home and they take care of their kids. And I'm like, I can't tell you I'm tired of her.
My mom was getting her master's after having, so like my brother and I were both very young. So she'd go to work, go do her master's, and then come home and be a fucking mom.
Isn't that incredible?
When I talk to her, I'm like, how did you do that?
Mm-hmm.
I simply would not. And she's like, I don't even, like, she's like, I can't even tell you.
Right, you just do.
I don't even know.
Yeah. My mom, when she had my brother, she was like an advertising executive boss bitch like running the show, and she had a infant at home. And I'm like, I complain multiple times a day about having to work with a cat meowing in my face, so I can't even imagine.
Please, when I do I have 2 dependents. They are so dependent on me.
It's women are magic. And I stay-at-home parents, there are so many incredible stay-at-home dads as well, but
God,
only just speaking from our experience. Stay-at-home moms like Kim K, respectfully, go fuck yourself on your fucking comments. She hasn't even apologized for it, and she probably won't.
Never will.
She probably won't.
I don't have any of them apologize for anything ever.
Yes.
What? The Pepsi thing? Did anyone
no, I
apologize
don't actually
for
think
that?
that anyone apologized for that. I know, actually, see, they used their show as an opportunity to address like how remorseful they are for shit. But like Jordan Woods, we haven't had a conversation about how Jordan Woods was crucified for Tristan fucking over Chloe. That's a conversation for another time. But they are kind of PR masters. Like they
evade taxes by just having a fucking church. A Kardashian church.
We should start a church. This is church. Could we evade taxes?
Probably.
Nice. This is
The
a
Holy
joke,
Hour.
government.
They're like, well, they spelled holy wrong, but it sounds like a church.
But we do have music.
Mm-hmm.
The Holy Hour. That's a church song.
Yeah, our word is gospel.
Mm-hmm.
So
we do have a Holy Bible. We've not published it. We've not written it, but it does exist in theory.
Yeah, it's kind of like the Book of Mormon, where an angel just you guys are the angels. You come to us.
You are, yeah, right.
It's all symbiotic.
There you go, government. I'm gonna file this audio in my tax returns. Don't tax me. Don't tax me, bro.
Out. Yeah, don't tax me, bro.
I wonder how the don't tase me, bro guy is doing. Anyway, this is going off the rails. Should we end it? All right.
We love you. Our
my hands are. Hold on, Liz. My hands are especially.
We can do it like a Catholic church where you're just
shiny.
like.
Oh, is this a Catholic thing?
It's kind of like you're just like, oh, I don't really want to hold your hand because you're a stranger at church.
Ooh, maybe I'm Catholic.
Did you ever do that?
Nope.
Oh. And then that's when you do the peace be with you.
And also with you, my child.
Peace be with you.
And also with you.
Anyways.
We love you.
Our children.